Hello guys, welcome to my channel, and today I'm going to show you guys a beautiful thing which I bought recently from online. This piece of glass has been sent to me from Singapore, and it's not actually sent to me for review. This is something which I bought. Look, today's review is very special for those people who have been following my channel, because I generally do reviews for Sony camera and gears. So this new lens is designed for Sony E mount. So today I'll be showing you guys whether you should go for this lens or not. It's my personal opinion about it, so don't take it as absolute opinion. So those people who have been following my channel, they know that I generally have Sony gears, and I love my Sony camera and lenses. So slowly and slightly I'm upgrading my stuff, and I have been shooting most of my videos with this 18 to 105, which is generally people know as a beautiful video lens for Sony cameras. And I have two Sony IPS-C cameras and one which I will be buying in I guess in February. That will be a Sony A7 III, that full frame camera. So before I go from APS-C camera to full frame camera, I need to have some full frame glasses. So the first glasses which I bought was Viltrox 85mm 1.8 HTM, which is a new lens which is released before 6 months, I guess. So very few people know about this lens, and the professional people who have been shooting wedding, they already have G Master glasses, as you all know, because if they use Sony camera, they would buy G Master lenses for sure. And if you are getting paid from your client, then there is no issue about it to spend 1.5 lakh for just one lens. But if your client are in budget and they are looking professional quality image from their photographer who they hire in budget, I fall into those criteria where I get less paid from a client like 20,000 or 30,000 or maybe 40 to 50, and they want me to shoot their weddings and want good quality images and all. So I cannot use G Master glasses in their wedding, even though eventually if I have money I will try to get those glasses. But before getting into those, I need to try some glasses which is designed for Sony camera and which has a positive reviews from the many YouTube reviewers. So this is the first lens which I bought from my Sony full frame camera, which is 85mm 1.8 STM, and this is from Viltrox. So maybe people don't see it as their go-to option for the Sony cameras, but yes, this is something which has been shown as a positive glass from Viltrox. They have been making manual glasses from last few years or so. So this is their first autofocus lens, and designed for Fuji mount and Sony mount. So what's inside the box? It's obvious that you will be getting one lens. Along with that, you will have one cover, and nothing else fancy about it. This is a Viltrox branded lens cover that you get, and apart from that, there will be a lens like this. So this is not the lens which I'm showing you right now. It is already attached to my camera, which I'll be showing you. So this is the lens which I'm talking about right now. This is Viltrox 85mm 1.8 STM, and this has been mounted to Sony A6300, and this is how it looks. So if I talk about the specification of this lens, this has 9 round bladed aperture to give you a beautiful background blur, and it is all metal lens. So the build quality of this lens is metal, and it has 72mm filter thread, so you can attach 72mm filter thread, polarizer, ND filter and all. You don't expect too much from this lens, because this is a prime lens 85mm. You are getting it in 20 to 25,000. This lens is not optically stabilized. It's not a stabilized lens, so you need to have a stable camera, or you can use it just like any other lenses. If you're using this lens in the daylight, then will be no issue, because you will be increasing the shutter to compensate the slight hand movement. But if you are shooting in the low light, you need to make sure that you have good amount of light in front of your camera. It doesn't have bezel sealing. So if you open this lens and look behind it, it doesn't have that rubber gasket which allows a lens to be resistant to the weather. So now coming back to the thing which I liked about this lens, and things which should be improved about the lens, because I have nothing to say bad about this lens, because I have purchased it after watching many reviews, and I know that this lens has many good things to offer rather than the bad things. So I'll be talking about good thing first. If you want to buy 85mm lens from any brand, be it Canon, Nikon or Sony or Fuji, since 85mm is a full frame lens, so price of this 85mm lens would not be less anyways. So let's take example of a Nikon 85mm. You're getting that lens at 25,000. When you talk about Canon, the price goes from 25 to 30,000. And if you go to Sony, and the Sony the lenses of Sony cameras are relatively high than the other brands, so it goes to around 45 to 50,000. Look, I have been using different focal length for my photographs. Like I have been using extra wide, I have been using 70 to 200. But if you ask any photographer what these all photographers, modern photographers are heading towards, they want light gear, light weighted lenses, and everything should be light. Because when you ask a photographer who has been using their DSLR gears from last 5 to 6 years, they have only one problem, because they don't want to carry all those heavy gears to the occasion and then bring it back home. So every photographer has a tendency to go light. So this mirrorless camera is a good example, because now camera brands are also identify the requirement of each and every photographer, so they are making gears lighter. So if you are going to buy a mirrorless camera, you need to have some mirrorless glasses as well. So if you are using DSLR and you think you will just jump into a mirrorless camera and you will be okay with it, so that's not gonna happen, because you need to have mirrorless lenses as well. Otherwise you will have to use adapter, and adapter does not guarantee full autofocus with any lenses that you are using. So now the problem is, this is a mirrorless lens, and you don't have to compare this lens to any DSLR lens, because DSLR is a different technology and mirrorless is a different. So any lens which a brand produce for mirrorless, the price of that lens is obviously going to be higher. So this is the only lens which you are getting at only $300 US. The initial price of this lens is $300 US, and if it goes based on the availability and based on the requirement, and if people start loving this lens, the price of this lens is going to be higher in future. So before it goes to 300 to 400 to 500, because based on the performance, you see the lens is obviously performs very well in terms of image quality, in terms of durability, in terms of autofocus, in terms of chromatic aberration, in terms of backlight. I mean, I have in terms of vignetting. Now if people like to compare this lens with Zeiss and G Master and other branded lenses, it would not be fair a comparison. And the reason is, at the price of one G Master lens, you can buy 5 of this lens, and the price of one Zeiss lens, you can buy 3 of this lens. So you don't have to compare this lens to those lenses, you just have to see whether this lens is usable or not. So I have made some tests and I have clicked some images. The eye autofocus, the face detection, all works well with the Sony camera as well as Fuji. And I have seen the image quality is relatively sharp in the center, and if we talk about the corners are a little bit softer, but that is the aesthetic of this 85mm, because it's a portrait lens. So whenever you shoot portrait, you need to put the subject in the center only. So now if you talk about the autofocus, I have seen the autofocus performs relatively well in video and photo, so there is no complaint about it. and I have tested Sony lenses as well. So the difference between the autofocus of the Sony lens and the Viltrox this lens, this Viltrox lens, you don't see any difference. Now there are some scenario where you hit or miss the focus when you try to focus in try to use continuous autofocus in video. So that is a little bit concerned, but I have seen many times it focus and tracks the subject very well. So I'm not going to complain anything about it. The good thing about the Sony lenses are they are all built in metal. Let's take a look at this Sony 18 to 105 lens. This 18 to 105 is also built from metal, but since it is built from metal, it gets the scratches very easily. The coating of over this lenses are not as good as it should be. So within 2 days of use, I already made on scratch here that you can see easily. But since it's made of metal, so you don't have to worry about that. Even if you drop 1 or 2 times, maybe you get away with it. So now I'm very much satisfied with the lens, and if you guys are really thinking to buy it, you can buy it. I'm looking forward to use this lens in a professional environment, and the way it has performed in my all tests, I think that this can be used in a professional environment as well. But last and not the least feature of this lens is it has USB, it has micro USB slot behind the lens, which I'm going to show you right now. Yes. So this slot allows you to upgrade the firmware of this lens. So Viltrox has done one good thing about this lens is that it has given you the option to upgrade the firmware. And what does firmware do is that when you upgrade the firmware, whenever it has any slight issue at the initial firmware, once you update it, it gets sorted and it functions properly with the firmware of a camera. Many times you see that a new lens has arrived and the lens has some issue while focusing. So it happens that you need to go to the service center and get it fixed. So this type of problem has been sorted with this type of technology where you insert a firmware inside, and whenever you see there is a slight issue with the lens while continuous autofocus and maybe changing some modes, then you can get it fixed by updating the firmware. So Viltrox is releasing firmware for its adapters. So it is also releasing its firmware for the lenses. I have seen in their site, and I have found one new firmware that is version 15, and I haven't updated my lenses till now, because out of the box the firmware which it comes with was performing very well. So maybe if I find any issue, then I will definitely go ahead and update it. And that feature is given to you that whenever you have some issue, you can update it, and they will identify the issue and they will sort it with the firmware update, and then you can do it in your camera by yourself. So now, if you love this review, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And if you have any question, you can write down in the comment section box. People who doesn't have a big client and doesn't have people who pay you like 60 to 70,000 for a wedding assignment, so you can, and if you are a starter, you can definitely go ahead and buy this lens and make a rig with the 6300, 6000, and any APS-C camera that you have. This is not APS-C lens minded, so you can pair with A7 III also, and you have the scope to pair with if you upgrade your body later in the future. So that is also a good thing about it. So if you really like my review, then give it a thumbs up, and if you are new to my channel, you can feel free to subscribe it. If you have any question, you can write down in the comment section, and if you have any doubt, I would be happy to clear out if you write down in the comment section as well. So thanks for watching. Have a great day.